this trip.
To your question, this is a question you may ask to UNHCR.
The UN agencies and their NGO partners have launched an appeal through the 2023 Joint Response Plan for $876 million to be able to provide support to the Rohingya refugees, but also to 450,000 Bangladeshis from the region who deserve humanitarian support. And the response of the international community has been grossly insufficient. Only 17% of the $876 million have been pledged to date. That is scandalous. Bangladesh should not be left to shoulder the burden of the presence of the refugees on its own.
The poverty in Bangladesh, that actually a strategy.
I would like to thank all the...
The World Food Programme has been forced in May to reduce the value of the food vouchers it gives from $12 per month per person to $10. And on the 1st of June, it will be reduced further to $8 in a context in which food inflation this year was about 8%. That means that in the camps, children are undernourished, the rates of malnutrition will increase, the rates of stunting will increase, the development of the child in that context will be endangered, and the families are growing desperate because they lack any perspective, given that they cannot be repatriated to Myanmar and they cannot be interacting with the host community.
People are not able to question.
Bangladesh should receive much more support from the international community in developing and funding its adaptation strategy. Today, the Green Climate Fund is grossly underfunded by the rich countries. Not only do they contribute too little to the fund, but in addition, the proportion of resources that go to adaptation as opposed to mitigation is grossly insufficient. And so Bangladesh is largely left on its own in having to cope with the impact of climate change. So I encourage rich countries to do much more to support Bangladesh, which is really on the front line of climate change and must receive much more support to deal with this challenge.